Hi students, this is the overview for our next folder in Module 2, which was called Week 5. So what we have in this folder is everything focused around getting you to the point of having a completed first draft for the Writing Project 1, which is a personal narrative. So you have your overview this week, which kind of introduces you to what's going on, a few important things to keep in mind this week, a time estimate for you, due dates, the module learning objectives, and I do have just a list of to-dos here, so you can just have, before you even go into the units, you can see what the deliverables are for the week. Okay. So you have that, but always go through the modules for all of your content so you don't miss anything. Okay, just remember that. Don't just go through the calendar because the assignments do link to the calendar. Always come through here, your modules and folders. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just remember, revisit what the assignment is. So I have posted that here, even though it's also I will post this in all the folders. I'll repost it for you to have access to as we work on the assignment. So, and remember kind of what we're doing, what the assignment is asking, those type of things, just to have. It also has the dates and everything. You'll see the dates and the schedule for the whole writing process throughout the module. So it's just good to revisit and reread and remember your topics. Don't just read them once and not look at them again, because sometimes, things happen and you kind of forget everything that's being asked of you, or you may forget some requirements, those type of things. So once you've kind of refreshed yourself, you do have this presentation, okay, and this is about, in total, somewhere around 20 minutes, okay? So I have broken it up into chapters, and when you click on the link, it's going to take you to YouTube. I had to link it this way on here because I was having some issues, so just click on that. It should take you to the YouTube video. It's my lecture talking about the assignment and giving you some things to think about in terms of your topics. Some of you may not feel really confident about your topics. This gives you a little more guidance on topics, making sure they're appropriate for the assignment and the scope of the assignment, because that's one of the challenges for this personal narrative. And also some help for getting some ideas down. You've already done a bit of pre-writing, but there's some other things here that can help you with that. So you will want to make sure that you have this presentation open. This is the video, and the narrated version has more info with me talking. But I did also link to this. It doesn't say WP1, it says Essay 1 here, but it's the same thing. Your writing project is your first essay. So that is also here in a presentation without narration, just kind of like a PowerPoint here. Okay, so make sure you look at that because there is a quiz on that presentation. Okay, so the presentation isn't optional. you have to look at it. And the quiz has 15 questions, and this is a quiz that isn't just testing to see what you remember. This is a quiz that I want to reinforce and make sure you understand a few things before you begin your draft. So you have 3 attempts to do this, and you have access to the feedback, so you can go back and take the quiz again as needed. Everything should be here for you to get a good grade on this, right? So you can have this open. It's open book, open notes. So do what you need to do to get those answers from the presentation, because I just care for this one about you understanding the assignment, okay, and how to get going on it. I do have one power of process here called Driving Away. The reason I'm assigning it during the drafting week is so you can have a reading fresh in your mind to think about. You've read one, the 8-Cal Bracelet, but Driving Away is I think it's there are different types of narratives, and this one is very engaging and fast-paced. So it's a little different, and it deals with a serious topic. It's something that I think is good, and because it lends itself well to conflict, right? Which is something you need in a story when you tell a story, and that story structure. So this is a good example for those of you struggling to, understand what a personal narrative is, or what it can be in terms of a story, and less like a typical 3-point essay. That's a good example for you to read. So you're just going to annotate, and read it, and just think of yourself as a reader, and what this writer's doing well to engage you, and then what can you borrow from this writer in terms of text moves to use in your own paper. Because we learn from other writers. I do have some resources here to help you with drafting. Now, there's a lot, and this is just a reference. Think of this like a little just resource for you to use for things you think you don't understand well, or you're going to need more help on. You don't have to look at all of these things right now. I would say look at a few of them. One of the ones that is really the most impactful, I think, is this one, because show don't tell is probably one of the most important lessons you can learn as a storyteller. So I would say, if you just wanted to look at a few of them here, then this is the one. And you can come back to this again when you're revising. Sometimes you don't need to think about all of this stuff in the drafting process. You just want to get your ideas down, right? So you can always come back to these when you are in the revising process and rethinking your paper too. So don't forget that. And don't overlook the top here. I put a couple resources too, just web resources that have information about narrative writing and drafting. So you have that, and I hope that helps you. I love having little bite-sized videos for things. I know that you are dying to know everything about MLA format, but you don't have to stress on this when you're first putting your ideas down. You can wait and do this as the very last step. Either way, you can set your paper up to do MLA format from the get-go. Some students prefer to do it that way. Some want to do it more like, okay, I don't want to think about MLA format when I'm writing because I'm focused on other things and just trying to get this done. That's fine too. Save it for the end before you submit it. I have a video. This is another tutorial of me talking. You guys are going to be tired of my voice by the end of this unit. MLA format. I have a PDF version and an example that you can use to look at it and say, well, I don't know, what does she want? Let me look at what it looks like on the page. So you should have everything you need there to do that. And then a very important document for you guys before you submit that first draft to the writing assignment on Connect. Don't just wing it. Okay, don't just go in there and say, I'll just figure it out. Look at this first. Watch the video, because how you submit your draft can impact how peers look at your paper. It can impact, you can't make changes once you submit to this assignment link, okay? So you will need to look at that. This handout, I kind of highlight some of the key things to remember up here. But you have this handout, and there is a video link here that walks you through it. I highly recommend you watch the video. It's not hard. It's just paying attention to a couple of things, making sure the text populates in the text box, those type of things, okay? And when you're ready, you are going to submit this assignment, just a first draft, to your peer review workshop. So you're basically submitting your paper to 2 other students in your group. That's automatically assigned. And don't worry about the peer reviews yet. It will not open until this week's deadline will pass. So you can't start the peer reviews until we get to that point. Okay. So right now you're just submitting your draft. And there's a couple dates here, which I always worry it's a little confusing, but this is the final draft date when everything's said and done. So I made sure to highlight the date we're doing this week. This is the final deadline of the whole project. Okay, so don't confuse those. You do have to submit your draft, your very, very first rough draft this week. And then you have your weekly summary. Okay, everyone. Well, I know drafting and writing can be stressful or overwhelming, so just do the best you can. And remember, this is not just a simple right or wrong type of scenario, right? You have something, and no matter, to what degree you feel the paper is ready, you will all have the opportunity over the next couple weeks after this to work and rethink and revise your essays. And that's the wonderful thing about writing. Don't forget that. Okay, everyone, have a great week, and I'll be here if you need anything. Happy writing.